I know in Nassau it's 1 p.m. So we're going to begin. It's so great to see all of you a part of this most exciting time. 1 hour on a Tuesday, I think the president said, is the best time of your life. Other than your baby being born or getting married, this is the best 1 hour you will have. Mr. President, am I correct?
Most correct. You know, you sound like you've been listening. You're a great listener.
Man, listen and put into place exactly what I've learned. I see a number of people already coming in. We hailed everybody: Ebony, Dwayne, Jonathan, Raquel, Laverne, Sheila, Mr. Munnings, Doc is in, Mark, and Lizette. Everybody's coming in. It's good to have all of you a part of this. We're going to get our meeting started with our call to order. As we begin, and we can ask our president to just call us to order as we begin our meeting today. Mr. President.
Well, thank you. Thank you for calling the meeting to order, you know. Thank you. But we're good. We're good. I appreciate you. I appreciate what is being done. But, you know, just go ahead. You know, just go ahead. If you're on the road, you're on the road.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. Again, I forgot to mention, I trust everyone had a wonderful Easter, a wonderful resurrection weekend, and you celebrated time with your family, however you did it, at home or at church. But it was a wonderful weekend, and I'm pretty sure many of you pull out your blankets, your boots, and your belts, because it was a little chilly on the weekend. So we're going to get started with our Rotary Grace. Let's get started with our Rotary Grace. Grant, O Lord, that the true spirit of service above self enter our hearts, and that our every act be guided by the four-way test of Rotary. Amen. Thank you very much, Chantal, for our Rotary Grace. I'm now going to ask the loyal toast to be done by PP Tony. Tony, are you on? Toast to the Queen and to the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. I think, Tony, you're there. Tony, you need to unmute. Sorry, Tony, just unmute. Just unmute your...
Unmute, here we go.
Okay,
thank you. Can you hear me now? Okay.
I can hear you clearly.
Oh, very good. This is something I haven't done for 35 years. I want to let you all know. Now, normally we'd all ask you to stand for the loyal toast, but because of the cameras and sitting at desks and being on a Zoom call, I think we'll waive that. So I'll just say to my fellow Rotarians and any distinguished guests we may have, I give you the loyal toast, Queen, and the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
To the Queen?
Queen and to the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. Thank you very much, Tony. I'm sorry I didn't have a clear glass. I know at the last meeting they said you should have a clear glass to make sure that it's what you're drinking. But I can assure you it's water.
We can send a lot of people to test our cup after this meeting.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Tony. I really appreciate that. Now we want to have the welcome. Darren, are you in? The great Darren? I'm sorry, Mr. Darren. Mr. Dr. Darren, are you in the house to bring our welcome? All right. Is Darren in as yet?
It doesn't look so. I don't see him.
Okay, so we need to have our visiting Rotarians, introducing our visiting Rotarians who's in the meeting today. I know we had PAG Karen from East Sunrise. She popped in earlier because she's still at work and she wanted to say hello to everyone. PAG Karen, it's good to have you in our meeting today. Thank you so much for being a part of our meeting. Any other visiting Rotarians we have in today? Any other visiting Rotarians? Going once? Going twice? All right, I don't see anyone else. Mr. President, are there any other visiting that you see on the call?
I think you can leave it open. Some of our people might have some guests here.
Okay, great. All right. All right, if you have a guest that's visiting with us today, please let us know. Pop in and let us know if you have a guest. We really want to make them feel welcome, part of the greatest club in Rotary, the Nassau Club. If you have a guest, please indicate, come on. I know I have a guest, Mr. President. Miss Sandra Walsh is visiting with us today. Sandra, good to have you with us today. And of course, if you're not my guest, you're the guest of the president, like he always says.
You could actually guess the cello.
Okay.
Good afternoon, everybody. I am Sandra Walsh, Clinician, invited by illustrious Keno McCartney.
All right. Thank you, Sandra. Thank you very much.
Let's make Sandra feel welcome, club. Let's make Sandra feel welcome.
Let's give her a round of applause.
And Keno, I'm sure that this is not her first visit, right?
This is not her first visit, and I think it's time for her to become a part of the Rotary Club of Nassau family.
Okay. I saw we have a lot of listening ears on the site, so that will be good.
Yes, thank you so much. Anyone else? But guess what? If there are no other visitors, we were given a challenge that everyone should be wearing blue today, powder blue today. And Chantal sent it out. She's wearing her powder blue. Laverne is wearing a, there you go, Nadia. There you go, Nadia. Got on your blue. Who is that? Ford wearing your blue. Oh, I love these blues. Look at these blues. One of Raquel, look at Raquel. Go Raquel. Raquel. Look at our ladies. Is that June? Is that Miss Pinder? Miss Pinder, you wearing your blue today? Oh my goodness. And your pearls. And your pearls.
Wow.
You, Laverne, y'all also got an extra email to wear pearls and blue. I mean, y'all look lovely, beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Who was the Rotarian who was wearing blue fingernails? Someone was wearing blue fingernails. She said she taking it to another level.
That's Ebony.
Ebony,
there you go.
Go, Ebony, show it. Listen, the Nassau Club.
Okay.
We just bring it. We don't half step. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. But thank you all for supporting this wonderful initiative, Autism Awareness. And the great way to do is to let our blue light shine. I am excited about our speaker who's going to be coming on shortly. Robin, is that you, Robin? Robin, are you wearing your blue? Oh, look at your blue. Robin, unmute, Robin, unmute. Let me hear what you're saying, Robin.
Hang on. Yeah, I'm blue, but it's as pale as I get.
Thank you, Robin. Michelle Major, is that a blue that you're wearing too high, Michelle?
Yes, navy and light blue. So
okay, good. Listen, one thing I love about this club, I was saying to Chantel, it's amazing how there's such great synergy and unity in this club. We went and I searched other clubs, but I found that this is the #1 club, and no pun intended. I was really impressed to see the unity that is in club. So I congratulate all of you for stepping up and stepping out by supporting.
But Keno, don't feel bad. That's why PAG Karen keep coming to this club, yeah?
She keep on coming, man.
Yeah, that's why she keep coming.
I haven't gotten any apologies, so congratulate. We haven't gotten any other apologies, and of course, we've already introduced our guest. If you have a guest that comes in a little later down, please make sure that we acknowledge them, because of course, one of the things about being a part of the Rotary family is we always want people to feel welcome, a part of this family. So we're going to move right on to the Rotary moment, and our Rotary supports mothers and babies. Chantal, could you bring that up first, please, so that we'll be able to see the video?
A single act of good can go a long way. It can cross oceans, cure disease, and create equality. As members of Rotary, we are people of action, and our actions have the power to speak loud and clear. Our vision and commitment to finding solutions provides access to high-quality care so vulnerable mothers and children can live longer and grow stronger. Rotary members worldwide work to improve maternal health and reduce child mortality by increasing access to essential medical services and implementing life-saving programs. We're providing comprehensive maternal care, preventative screenings, and family planning that empower women and girls to take charge of their own destinies. Our efforts aren't just changing lives. They're saving lives and strengthening families by training birth attendants, providing prenatal care, newborn immunizations, and facilitating mobile health clinics. Thanks to Rotarians like you, patients are receiving the practical and compassionate treatment they deserve, so that babies are born safely into the arms of healthy mothers. Your contribution keeps mothers and babies far and wide connected to a world of good. Every gift is an action that speaks volumes in delivery rooms, communities, and across continents. Learn how you can support the cause that means the most to you.
Thank you so much, Chantal, for sharing that very powerful video and the fact of what Rotary is doing, the foundation of Rotary is doing around the world. Ladies and gentlemen, what we're doing makes a difference in the lives of not only this generation, but all future generations when we touch babies and mothers for the future. So we encourage you to continue to give to the foundation, give to your organization so that we could continue to impact every generation that's going to come after us. Again, now we're going to go to remarks and announcements with our president. And of course, any other announcement that you have, and also we can turn it over to Secretary John, if any notice of correspondence. Mr. President.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I trust that everybody's doing extremely well. You know, the great Lombardi, he talked about, Vince Lombardi, he talked about individual commitment to a group effort. That is what makes a team work, a company work, a society work, civilianization work. You know, Lombardi was one of the most famous coaches in the NFL, and he coached the NFL trophy. If you know, those of you who follow football, you'll know that every team must be fighting for the great Vince Lombardi trophy at the end of the season. So, you know, there's no question whether Rotary Club of Nassau will get that trophy. All right, we just polishing it up. You know, we have it, we just polishing the trophy up. So I'm glad that everybody's here. Trust that you had a restful weekend. However you spent it, whether at home, wherever you went, that you had a restful weekend. Trust that everything is going well, that everybody's in the best of health, that we're doing extremely well. You know, I'm always proud to be among you. I look forward to these Tuesdays. I long forward to those sessions. I know I've been keeping you a bit busy lately because I wanted to see you. So I had to create events to see you. All right. So we were doing extremely well. And those who not able to show up to the event, you know, they were there in spirit. I could feel the spirit moving, like Raquel's spirit was moving everywhere I go, that she was there, that she was present. So that's what I like about this great club, that our people support. We get support, whether from behind the scene, whether we get around the club. So I'm glad that we have a great club, and this club continues to be the talk of the town. It's because the people that we have. Any successful club, don't mind the crowd, the loud, what we have. The good thing, advantage we have now is that we can participate in 20 events and don't bind out one person now, because of the amount of people that we have. So thank you, and I really appreciate your support. Really appreciate your support. And so last Thursday, I think our last event, we did the check presentation, the BDF, and you should have seen it in The Guardian this morning. So we are doing extremely well. The Guardian, we are publicizing this club. This club is getting we are getting some big calls, and very soon I will be revealing some things to you all from the persons who are calling who want to help this great club. So thank you for all of you who your continued support. Joan, Past President Joan, do you have anything of importance you want to share?
No, not anything today. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Great.
Mr. President, can I make a quick comment to you, sir?
Yes.
So someone said to me the other day, they said, normally when they open up the newspaper, it's always either bad or sad news. And they said it was very refreshing that over the last several days or weeks or so, every time they open up, they would have seen something that the Rotary was doing, and in particular, the Rotary Club of Nassau said every time they open up the newspaper now, they put the bad news aside, and they want to know what's the next thing this club is doing, because obviously we are moving and shaking this community for good, for service. So again, I commend all of you. Last week we had the vision program. We had the water program, the feeding program. And I think, was it last week, Thursday or Thursday evening? We even switched our meeting to connect with the Providenciales, Rotary Club of Providenciales. And Mr. President, could you just briefly talk about how that meeting went? Because that was a wonderful meeting with Providenciales Rotary.
I thought it went extremely well, and and it tells us, it's a measuring tool for where we are as a club, and our job is just to help and spread the good word around. I just thought that we continue to move around. When you talk about season, when the water's troubled, this is the time to jump inside it, right? And so that's as best as how I can look at it. But I think we will have a troubled water for a long time, for years to come, based on what I see. Based on what I see, the conventional wisdom that I see, conventional view that I see ahead. And while we are still here, we have persons celebrating their birthday. We love celebrating people's birthday. April 6th and April 9th. April 6th today, right? And April is Zalika. And then April 9th, we have Chantel. So we know we got to do our thing. Let's get the music rolling. All right.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you.
My birthday, come again. My birthday, come again. My birthday, come again. How old am I now? My birthday, come again. My birthday, come again. Come again, so I can party.
Keno, are you home or are you at work?
Listen, I'm to work. I closed the door to make sure nobody can see me. But
Andrea, you and Keno are almost in the same business. How is it that he can do that kind of thing at work and you can't?
listen, you close the door and you duck.
Okay, that's interesting. I'll have to come and your CEO gotta have words,
Yeah.
Maybe that's how y'all woo the customers though. Maybe that's how you woo the customers.
Listen, that's the joy and the happiness of being a part of this club. Listen,
okay.
Chantal is on. Chantal, say hello to everyone. Your birthday come again.
Hello.
Ooh, where's Zalika? Zalika put on those videos. Where's Zalika? I saw her. She types up in the chat. Come on, Zalika, put on that video. Let's see what you look like today. Is she there? Where is she?
She's incognito.
Incognito. Zalika, listen, happy birthday. Oh man, you're a wonderful month, April. Congratulations. Go ahead, Mr. President.
No, but just let them know that the birthday comes with a price now.
There she is. Hey,
yeah.
Zalika.
Zalika.
And the balloon.
Hi, everyone. That's right. Balloons and everything.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, very nice.
Oh, excellent. Zalika, you got to say something. This is the big day. You have to say something. Tell us.
Well, I mean, I'm grateful to be celebrating a birthday and to be spending some time with my Rotary family. So this is great.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful.
Where's the cake?
Yes, sir. Where's the cake, Zalika?
That's for a little later. Stay on the call.
Okay.
Let us know what time to pick it up. You and Chantel, you're not going to get away. Please let us know if the cake is coming in the mail, FedEx, by Uber. Who's going to bring the cake? All right. Okay, so we have Sonia. Sonia, well, ladies, you enjoy. Sonia, treasurer, you're coming up with our dues and fines outstanding.
Just 1 minute. We have Christopher Edwards has joined our meeting. Christopher, we got to say a word for Christopher,
Oh, cool. Christopher, come on, Chris.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. It's a pleasure being here amongst you great guys. And happy birthday to everyone who in April.
Awesome.
Okay, Christopher, you're good?
Yes, sir. All is well. Thank God.
We're glad that you're here, And this won't be the last time, right?
Oh, most definitely not.
Okay.
I fell in love from the first day.
Okay.
Oh, man, you're hooked, Christopher. You're hooked.
Yes, sir.
You hooked to the club or to somebody?
I like to thank. Oh, no. And I like to thank Chantel as well for the great introduction to the club, and it was an easy sell.
I just wanted to clear that up, you know.
Yeah, man. Well, it was the easier sell too, you know. It made it easier.
Okay. Sounds great.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Keno.
All right, listen. This is too much fun. In 1 hour, you're having too much fun. You'll behave yourselves now. But listen, the greatest 1 hour of your life is with the Rotary Club of Nassau. Sonia, are you on? Sonia, a treasurer? We're going to be talking fines and dues now. I understand that if you didn't wear blue.
No, Sonia's not here. We can just leave that for the time being.
Okay, no problem. If you're not wearing blue, maybe Chantal, I don't know, should there be a fine for that? A $3, $5 fine? I don't know, Chantal, Ms. Perez, what you should say. It's your birthday, Chantal. What do you declare?
It's Zelica's birthday. Zelica could
Zelica, what is your decision? What say ye? You are the one who will tell what is going to happen today.
Oh, that's a lot of pressure. I pass it back to Chantel.
Oh, gosh. $5 it is then. $5 it is.
If you're not wearing your blue shirt today, and who is that? Tony? Is that Tony? Oh, Tony. Did Tony just put a mask on? Tony, did you just put on a digital mask? Oh my goodness. Listen, so everyone turn on your video very quickly. If you don't have on the blue, we're going to collect $5 from you. So let's see who all have on their blue or have something to do with blue. Lawrence, is that you? Lawrence got on the blue. Hey, Tamika got on her blue. Lawrence has it.
Awesome.
But Jonathan, boy, you made your pull that out this morning. You ironed that quick. With an iron, you got the iron in the back of you. You did that quick, man, Jonathan. I'm sure you didn't have that on this morning. Good stuff, Jonathan. Who else we got here? Jonathan, Zalika, you had the blue balloon, so you get away with that. Wayne Miller, did you have a blue? You got on a blue jacket. Okay, you can get away with that. See, Joan have on a blue and a pearls. So that's good. Who else we have? Anyone else has on their blue? So if you don't have on your blue today, $5 can be placed. Thank you so much.
Patricia's trying to get your attention.
Hey, Patricia! Patricia, what's saying? You're mute, Patricia. Come on, come off mute.
Can't hear you.
What did Patricia say? Patricia, the blue sky. I don't know if I can count that.
Better glasses.
You trying to get that blue sky, Patricia? I gotta watch out for you.
You know, I see Dwayne look like he's trying to show something there too. I saw burgundy from him earlier, but I don't know what's going on now.
Oh my Lord, Dwayne!
Dwayne,
but that's his co-worker. Dwayne gone to the closet and get one blue. Oh Lord, help Dwayne! Lord of my, help Dwayne, y'all. Okay, y'all having too much fun. Who else is in here? Mike, what? Mike, do you have on your blue? Jeffrey, I haven't seen you yet. Of course, Christopher, Lizette, I haven't seen you yet. Miss Annalie, RCN, Shara, I think Shara. Deandra, are you wearing your blue? Okay, oh, she has a blue glasses. Well, listen, thank you so much, Christopher. Thank you for wearing your blue, and thank you for supporting this noble cause and contributing your fines. If you're not wearing blue, we appreciate all that you're going to give today. Now,
Keno, just before you go, we have a guest here. We have the president of St. Martin's, Alicia Lake. She's from St. Martin's Rotary Club. So we are glad to have her on our meeting. She joined us at the joint meeting with Turks and Caicos. So glad to have you, Alicia. You want to say hello?
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for having me.
Ooh, it's good to have you. Good
all
to
right,
have
great.
you.
Hi, Alicia.
How is it down in St. Martin's?
It is hot, very hot.
Oh gosh.
Well, tell you what, we're going to send some of this cool breeze, this cool weather down to y'all, okay?
Awesome, thank you.
All right. It's good to have you a part of our meeting today. Anyone else, Mr. President, that is visiting with us?
That's it. I think we're ready for the next
entertainment.
No, I ain't sure we can have that today.
Oh, we are playing the entertainment today. We have 2 minutes.
Yeah, Darren is not on.
So we can go right into our speaker. introduction of speaker. Ebony, are you on? Ebony, please introduce our distinguished speaker today.
Okay, so Dr. Michelle Major is a Bahamian licensed psychologist, nationally certified school psychologist, and board certified behavior analyst. Dr. Major serves as the clinical director of the Caribbean Center for Child Development and executive director and founder of Seahorse Institute, a nonprofit day treatment center for individuals with special needs. She has over 22 years experience working with children with disabilities and mental health in both the private and public sectors. She has had extensive experience in the diagnosis and intervention for developmental and behavioral disabilities. Dr. Major began her career as an inclusion teacher and a verbal behavior therapist for children with autism. She later conducted research in the field of disabilities and education and worked in the public school systems in Miami-Dade and Palm Beach counties. Prior to her move to the Bahamas in 2008, Dr. Major worked at the Dan Marino Center in Miami Children's Hospital and served as an assistant professor of psychology at the Barry University. Furthermore, she has served as part of several U.S. government grants on violence prevention totaling over $5 million. She is an international expert and has presented and trained professionals in Bangladesh, Jordan, U.S. Emirates, and Saudi Arabia. Today, we recognize Autism Awareness. Dr. Major will discuss the Seahorse Institute's Autism Awareness initiatives. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Michelle Major.
Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you can all hear me. I am in Long Island. I told Miss Nadia Bain, I hope the internet is strong as I'm on vacation in Long Island. I'm so excited to be back here. And I also might get in trouble since Rose have asked me to present this week, only accepted one, which is where I am today. So I'm blessed to be here and I'm glad to be joined this energetic Rotary today. I am going to share my screen and speak to you a little bit about autism. And I always take this opportunity. My husband was upset at me. He's like, why are you spending so much time on this presentation? You've done a million of those. And I always like to do something new every time I present. So today I want to share a little bit. I'm going to share some videos. I want you to get a feel of what a neurotypical child is versus a child with autism, and then share a little bit about what we do at Seahorse Institute. So I'm going to go ahead and hopefully share my screen and hopefully, can everybody see my screen? Yes?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right, so I want to talk a little bit about understanding. This is Autism Awareness Month. It's also Maternal and Child Awareness Month for the Rotary Club in the world. And so we want to understand not only what is autism, because we get really confused in today's world because so much falls in this thing called the spectrum. And many people, even, parents who are living through it struggle to understand, if my child's not banging their head on the wall and hand flapping, they don't have autism. Just last week, I diagnosed a 21-year-old Bahamian at University of Bahamas with autism. And she said it was the greatest gift she's ever gotten because she finally had something lifted off her shoulders to understand why she was so different. So we have to understand that autism is, runs a gamut of symptoms and characteristics and levels of severity, and also what it's like to have autism and survive in a world where everybody's brain is different than yours. So I want to share a little bit of that today. When we talk about parents children with autism. Actually, my initial research in this area when I was getting my master's degree was actually on the burden of being a parent with a child with autism. And that really came after about 10 years of working in the homes with families and just seeing how hard it was for them day to day. Being in the home with the parents, we got to see as therapists, them fighting, their struggles, needing to talk to someone, their tears, and really seeing what it was like to have to parent a child with a disability, but much less one with autism, that left so many parents with unknown questions and no answers and trying to figure out how they can help their child. But really being a parent with autism means that it requires a new level of flexibility, creativity, and absolutely a willingness to change. And it really is a difficult journey for many of our parents. So when we talk about autism spectrum disorder, there are only 2 spectrum disorders in our diagnostic psychiatric book. What a spectrum means is that it's simply that, like the spectrum means that you have both different characteristics and severities across mild to severe. And in autism, there are 3 areas that are targeted. That means that there must be a language issue, there must be a social interaction issue, and then there must be what we call a behavior issue, or repetitive or stereotyped or sensory-based issues is what falls under. Those 3 areas must be impacted. However, no 2 kids or individuals with autism are identical. Okay, you know, in 27 years I've been doing, I very rarely have seen 2 kids that show exactly the same profile. And that's what makes them so unique and so challenging. So while the 3 areas must be impacted, the characteristics within those and the severity to which they are impacted can vary from child to child or individual to individual. And so that's why diagnosing is so critical, and only a few of us are trained to be able to diagnose according to the gold standard. There is a gold standard now for diagnosis that came out in 2015 as a requirement. With the rate of autism increasing every year, right now in the United States, the rate is 1 in every 15 children being diagnosed within the autism spectrum. Whereas when I started 27 years ago, it was 1 in 1,500 kids. And very few people had even heard about autism at that time. So the reality is that because of that, they wanted to make sure that everyone across the world is going under the same stringent criteria and assessment and comparison tests before, instead of going to a neurologist like, oh, you have autism, going to a pediatric doctor, you have autism, a developmental specialist, instead of all of these people diagnosing with 15 minutes or an hour, they really made a criteria of diagnosis that is a gold standard that must be met. Even despite that, since 2015, the rates keep going up and we're seeing more and more autism. In the Bahamas, since I've been back home now, I think 13 or 14 years since I've been back home, I don't think there's a week that a child doesn't come into my office that we're newly diagnosing. That's quite astonishing. Some weeks there's 2, and it all depends. When we got open after COVID, we had a big rush of family in, because I think a lot of parents got to spend time with their children, got to be able to see their delays, and really started to notice that there might be some concerns there related to their kids. So what are some of the earliest signs of autism? What we look for, I've seen kids, I can pretty much spot a 6-month-old. Most kids we're trying to catch at 15 to 18 months. In the Bahamas, we're not seeing kids coming until about 4 to 5 years of age. That is a critical deficit, simply because early intervention is vital. The earlier we get in there, the better. What we can do with a child who's under the age of 4 in 15 minutes will take us 2 hours when they're 8 years old. Thinking about investment and money, you want to get in there early. You want to rewire that brain, because the brain is more valuable, and you want to make those changes. And so early intervention is key. Our gatekeepers are our pediatricians, but most importantly, our gatekeepers are our preschools in our country. And so educating preschools is one of the new initiatives that Seahorse Institute is trying to take on this new year, so that we can get preschoolers to be able to identify any concerns. So what we see is a lack of language. We see difficult to comfort a lot of our kids, that traditionally colic kind of baby, or they can be the best babies in the world, meaning you have to do nothing with them. They can sit and stare, be in their bed, looking at their mobile round and round for hours and hours and hours. And so we looking for that, but most importantly, eye contact, or something we call joint attention, looking kind of back and forth at a parent, having that emotional reaction of smiling and giggling as a baby. Those are things that a lot of our children will love. So I want to show this video quick. It actually is a parent with two twins, boys, same age. And in the video, you see the two brothers and a difference in play. They're 1 year, 7 months old. You'll see Nathan giving interaction and talks. This is Nathan now. He's saying push, he's looking at the toy, very cause and effect.
It fell off, that's right. Here it is.
He's saying words. Now here is his brother. Very different response. While he's pushing, he's not really looking at his mom. He's saying no words. Staying focused is difficult. You'll also start to see him stare at the bottom of the toy, looking at the wheels.
Look, here it is. Take the train. Stay up here, please.
So while they may seem very similar, in fact, those kids have very different flags. The first one is what a typical neurotypical brain child will look like, and the second one is typical of a child with autism. That we would notice some of those characteristics. A very common symptom is the lack of running to their name. So here we have a typical child and how they would respond to their name when we call them, right? We expect children when we call them. This is a 12-month-old, so just a 1-year-old child. Kyle automatically looks at mom, smiles, and points, providing attention and response. When we look at this child who's in a clinic, so you'll see the actual therapist, this is 19 months. So this is actually 7 months older than the child you just saw. He does look at his mom.
Then see maybe if you can get him to respond to you now, you can use touch with his name, like give him a little tickle or something.
Then
even when she touches him, he doesn't respond. He seems to listen word or staring at something.
He likes the tickles, but he's just not giving you too much eye contact.
So that just gives you a little feel of the kind of things that we look for when we're diagnosing and when we're looking at in our center, when we're looking at a child, looking for those early skills of social interaction and language. Again, there's a lot more characteristics and symptoms we look at, but I wanted you to get a feel of what a neurotypical child and what a child with autism would look like in those mild signs. Most kids do show signs by 18 months. We will see them again much younger than that, but unfortunately, we are not able to get them in a clinic that young, like we would want them to be. All right. Some kids have what we call 20 to 40% have a regressive or late onset. So some kids during the first year will start to speak, will have some language, and then suddenly lose that language. But by age 3, we can pretty much see the manifestation of the symptoms in full effect. So areas of difficulty with autism, it really means that these are children who struggle socially in relationships, struggle to communicate about feelings, understanding feelings and emotions of other people. Why are you crying? Why are you sad? Pragmatics means that these children have difficulty. If it's not black and white and literal, meaning that, it's raining cats and dogs, they really say there's no cats and dogs outside. Okay, so they're very literal in their interpretation, understanding social cues. They will have obsessive interests. That's Bill Gates, right? Bill Gates is in the autism spectrum, and And so being able to build Microsoft in his garage and be obsessive interest into something, having that unique computerized brain is very typical of individuals who are higher functioning in the autism spectrum. The need for rigidity, things have to be a certain way or if they get frustrated. Sensory issues are a big deal, meaning anything we think about with our senses, ears, nose, mouth, touch, taste, they will be either hypersensitive, meaning overly sensitive, or hyposensitive, undersensitive. So that means it can bang their head and not feel pain, or you can tap them like this and it be excruciating. So they will have those sensory-based issues. Focusing and attention and just some other issues are all part of what we will see. Some behavioral characteristics we see, obsession and rituals, kids lining up toys, kids really into trucks, planes, automobiles, weird things like elevators, you name it. They'll have kind of unique obsessions. The girl who I just diagnosed at age 21, when people die, she becomes obsessed with him. When Michael Jackson died, she learned everything about him. She knows everything from his birthday to every song to everything about him. She also has extraordinary skills. She can listen to music and play it back identical on any instrument you give her, even though she's never taken a music class. She has taught herself 7 different instruments on her own, simply by listening. So that brain with individuals with autism is not so much that when we call it a disability, it's just meaning that it's different. It's a different brain. In some ways, part of that brain can be even more evolved than the typical brain. It will be someone with autism that's going to find the cure for cancer and things like that. It's not going to be a neurotypical brain because they can sit, obsess, and work until they find the answer. And so sometimes they will engage in self-injury and abuse. Some will hit themselves, hit others, bite themselves, bang their head. These are very rare, and they're actually not part of the autism diagnosis, meaning you do not have to have those in order to be diagnosed. What you do have to have is stereotype repetitive behaviors, lining things up, repeating things back, spinning of wheels, spinning of yourself, things like that. Those kind of characteristics must be present. So I mentioned about sensory difficulties. When kids and individuals have sensory difficulties, they'll have a lot more behavioral problems, a lot more meltdowns. The things that don't bother us or that our brain can filter, in a brain with autism, they can't. The sounds, people chewing gum, people, I have a kid, he can't stand when his mother's eating out of a bowl and how the sound that she makes. So he has to leave the room. When his father coughs, all of that hypersensitivity that irritates them can happen. And so many times when they're out in public and there's a lot of noise or there's crowds and lots of people, they can have something that looks like a temper tantrum, but in reality, it's a meltdown. It's a sensory meltdown. I'm overwhelmed. I have to get out of here. And so in the way that you and I can go maybe to parties and from one event to the other and we get tired, an individual in autism spectrum can maybe make it only a few minutes in one event before they're like, I'm out of here. I cannot take it. This is actually literally painful for me. Parents have to experience a lot of stressors, especially for those kids who are higher functioning. And so they will have to transform their lives in a way that means that, these kids need structure. Anything that's unstructured makes them stressed. Okay. So if the bus is not on time, leaving for school on time, transitions from one classroom to the next, all of these things, sensory, organization and writing academically, social things, all of these things are very stressful for individuals in the autism spectrum. Common stressors in the home, lots, especially sensory-based ones. We have to do at Seahorse Institute feeding protocols. Many of our kids will only eat 1 or 2 items. If that. I had a kid who his first 5 years of life, he only ate rippled Lay's potato chips. They must be Lay's, they must be rippled, and that would be all he ate for 5 years. Another kid had only ate king crab and Kentucky Fried Chicken. Well, if many of you remember quite a few years ago, Kentucky closed down for a short period of time. His family had to fly to Florida to get him food because he could not eat anything else but KFC and crab. And crab didn't exist here, not the kind he ate, and KFC was closed. So they're very rigid, they're very stubborn when it comes to food, and will only eat certain types, certain ways. Again, not all kids, but we will find that. Haircut protocols, the noise. Imagine that noise when that clipper comes by your ear is very stressful for them. So we have to do protocols to desensitize them to that. Sometimes parents who have boats, how to get them on a boat so that they would ride on a boat ride because of the engine sound or the smell of the engine and the gas. All these things. Going to a dentist is hard for kids with parents with autism. Getting simple things like if you scraped knee checked out, heaven forbid anything greater happens, they have to go to a hospital. These are very stressful. Kids can become combative and aggressive because of a lot of the sensory issues that go on with them. I'm trying to be very conscious of time. I know time is sensitive. So Seahorse Institute, when I came back home 13 years ago, on a prayer and a whim, I opened Seahorse Institute as a non-profit organization. We opened up on Shirley Street. I just opened up for the summer and prayed that people would stay, and they did. Kids came in the summer and they stayed. We were very blessed to have a great team of individuals that I was able to train and get the support systems that they needed. We, a few years later, had a fire. Many of you may remember that. And then we moved into the Kirk for 9 months, into the church before we moved into our new building where we're located now, and very blessed to be there. Right now, post-COVID, post all that, we are running 3 different programs at this time. So what makes Seahorse Institute different than any other program that we'll find? We're data-driven. Every second of every day, each child in Seahorse Institute, we are taking data sheets. Our therapists walk around with data sheets. We have daily feedback for the parents, continuous oversight. Most importantly, we have a great team of professionals. It's the only one where we can diagnose as well as we have board certified behavioral therapists. We have speech and language therapists. We now have a developmental psychologist that joined our team a year and a half ago. We also have a special education specialist. So we have a team of masters and above trained individuals who are working together to on a weekly basis to oversee each kid's programs and ensure that the children continue to progress. This is just an idea of our weekly data tracking sheet. So how the child's performances, this child for the first 4 weeks was kind of had a flat profile, you can see as far as goals. And then there was a big jump in the training once we can figure out how to access their brain, how to teach it. And that's really what it is. It's what I love about my job is when I have a tough case, I get excited because now I can think outside the box as a way to kind of crack through that brain and figure out how to make that child learn. And so you could see here, progressed and the learning curve simply goes straight up the way we want until the goal was met. And this is how we know that the program is working and not that we're a parent could feel like we are addressing the needs. We can show the progress, we can show what's happening versus is my child getting what they need? What have they learned from what they haven't? All that data is there to show that the intervention is working. The HOPE program that's been around since before the beginning of time, which is our program on the principles of applied behavior analysis and verbal behavior. That's the #1 research program to show the best results in individuals with autism. It's been around since the 1970s. No other program has been able to refute it since then. It still has the highest impact and change. It is one-on-one, one therapist to one child. So far, Seahorse Institute has fully mainstreamed 15 children. When I mean fully, they came in typically not talking at all and now are fully integrated into a regular school, having a regular life. And many schools would be like, there's no way this kid ever had autism. I don't see the signs. But at one point, they were actually quite severe in the autism spectrum. And so we were blessed to have had many children who have been extremely successful. So those are cases that are fully mainstream. Out of the hundreds of kids we have serviced, many have improved, but still need services ongoing throughout their developmental life. We also have the Indigo program. This is a new program we developed, I think about 2.5 years. It's really hard with COVID to remember years anymore. But it is a program that with the introduction of our new speech and language therapist, actually 3 years ago, she actually is a specialist in autism and a speech and language therapist. The Indigo program is an integrated program, so parents can get both the applied behavior analysis program and speech and language actually simultaneously. There are only a few programs in the world that do this in fusion. Because there's such opposite philosophies, these two types of philosophies tend to buck heads. And so you don't find it very frequent that they will work together integrated. However, those who do it around the world have found actually greater success by integrating the two philosophies. So starting about 2 years ago, we developed the Indigo program, which was an integration of both. And we have been finding even more success, and hopefully the research will demonstrate that this is actually the ideal program set up to have both philosophies working together. Last but not least, Seahorse Institute is the only institute in the Bahamas that has a fully integrated sensory integration room. As you might have seen, what I said earlier, that kids in the autism spectrum have sensory issues with all of their senses. This is a specialized room that was created to actually provide the necessary stimulation to balance that part of the brain for our kids, which will then lead into better results as well. So I'm going to conclude with Ethan. Ethan is now a 7-year-old boy. He came to us when he was 2 years old. At 2 years of old, and he was a recipient of a scholarship where he received intensive ABA therapy through the HOPE program. When Ethan came, he had no language. We actually started with sign language with him and slowly developed sound production, and using different techniques, got those sounds into words, those words into sentences. And now he's a fully second grade child at a local school, fully functioning academically. In some ways, his academics are above the second grade, but he is doing very well and very successful in school. So I wanted to share that about Ethan. Right now at Seahorse Institute, our call to action is for scholarships with kids. We have kids who have been displaced from Dorian that are still in our center in needs of support. And of course, with the COVID and economic impact, many of our families have been struggling to continue their services. So that's been a major area. In that, Seahorse Institute has also expanded as a nonprofit to support mental health service needs for kids as well within the community, those with children with autism disabilities, but also kids who were displaced from Dorian with depression, anxiety. Our development of a psych team was developed to support that. And so we have other initiatives that we have been taking on, as well as of recent work with Grand Bahama Children's Home to train their staff working with children in the home. So we have expanded our nonprofit to support many other areas. And that's about it in a nutshell. If you have any questions.
Dr. Michelle, thank you so much. This has been an enlightening time. The information that you've shared, my wife and I have been in children's ministry for several years. And I can tell you the information that you've shared has greatly helped us who work with children to know what to do, especially with children who may have autism on the spectrum. So thank you so much. We do have several questions. One of the questions that we have here is, how can we as allies lend our support to families with autistic children? What are some of the things that we can do as allies?
Yeah, I mean, I think that like everything, I mean, you know, there's so many gamuts of ways to help. One is education, right? As I mentioned before, our new initiative is to maybe start educating preschools, reaching out to preschools and providing trainings for teachers. You know, there's no school that's going to get away with not having kids with disabilities or kids with autism. We've got to look at it as, instead of isolating these kids or not, you know, kind of ignoring some of the symptoms, how do we catch it early, but also educating regular teachers, regular preschools on how to work with these kids, how important language is. So one initiative, of course, is how do we create platforms to provide that education? And then the other is, how do we support our parents in our community? You know, how do we do that? How do we get resources like therapies for them, because it is costly over time? How do we lobby so that insurance companies cover it? You know, how do we, you know, create it so that our parents have a release of burden and support from the community, instead of them going out and saying, well, your child is rude, he just needs a good cut hip. That we are sensitive, we understand how to support those families, that there are people to babysit them, that there are people to support these families, because it is a lot of work. Every child with a disability is equivalent to having 5 neurotypical kids. Okay, so if you have 3 kids and all 3 of them have autism, you have equivalent to 15 kids you have to take care of. That's the capacity and burden of it. And so if we could understand that and see that, then we, even whether it's your church, whether, you know, anybody, to support these families, to, you know, have special Sunday schools for them, have people get trained in the churches to take care of these kids appropriately when they do come in, you know, what to do with them so that they know, because a lot of it is, I hear from a lot of people, I would love to help them, I just don't know what to do. They're running around. I don't know how to, you know, I don't know how to control them. I don't know how to get them to sit down, you know? And so part of it is they want the education of how to work with these individuals on so many levels. We need to be able to provide that education and training as well. Well, thank you. We have a question coming in from Robin and Sheila. Let's start with ladies first. So Sheila, do you have a question? And then Robin, so your hands up.
Yes, thank you, Kino. Michelle, Seahorse does an absolutely awesome job, and there are other people out there that are dealing with autistic children. My question is, well, it's a question and a bit of a statement as well, I guess. I know of 40 families that are dealing with adult autistic children. My friend has a 33-year-old adult son, and there's no help for them out there. They're trying to get together to form some kind of you know, assistance program, you know, kind of daycare for them or whatever. Do you know of anything that's out there to help? I mean, as you said, 15 kids, 3 kids equal 15 kids. Try a 33-year adult son.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we have adults at our center. Our oldest individual right now is 26 years old. And he's been with us for a few years. The reality is that across the gamut, not just adults, but there is a lack of services. And also what we see even from most governments, not just the parents, once they become adult age, then the services drop off. Now, there are agencies out there, you know, the Down syndrome center supports adults, even, you know, from all disabilities, not just Down syndrome. But again, their capacity, as is everybody's, is at a limit. It is an area of need. The area of need goes across all the gamuts, but absolutely, as with adults with disabilities, with adults with mental illness, a lot of parents are stuck with, how do I cope with an adult? Where are the support systems? How can they come in the homes and help me? You know, whether that's special care systems, etc. They just, you know, they just don't exist the way that they need to be. You know, I wish I had an answer for that. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Michelle. That was the answer I expected, actually.
Yeah, you know, it is unfortunately how it is.
So I have a question. Do you track your students' progress? I mean, when you think about trying to intrigue persons to assist with your program, for instance, I know they say Einstein, Bill Gates, you know, persons who have succeeded and have the same condition, because the negativity that you put on it to say that it's a disability, I'm wondering, as far as the sales go, if that's an inhibitor.
I mean, again, unfortunately, if I came off negative, that was not intention. considering I think these kids have, are some of the best brains in the world. But the reality is that's what we all are about, which is the progress and progress monitoring. Most of children in the spectrum who, have had the treatment and are functioning at a higher level, do amazing things in their field. They're the best kind of workers and scientists you're going to find around. So I'm not sure, what you mean by a positive perspective, because I think most of the word disability, again, any word you put there, if you look at history, as a society, we then make a negative, it's, they are able, but they do struggle. And so in the same way that, mental illness is still an illness, it means that they need special care. They need special services. They need special consideration. They need special understanding from all of us, that having a disability doesn't make you less than, it just makes you different. And we're all different. But how can we support each other? It's just a flag to say, you need help, I'm here to help. And really that comes from us individually, how we can do that. I don't know if that answers your question, but most
I think it does. I mean, the fact that you're monitoring, and that means you'll have statistics, I think the future looks bright.
Future is bright.
Absolutely.
Robin,
yes.
I think your hand was still up. Robin, you had a question?
It is. Really, you partly answered, Michelle, my question with Sheila, because I have a granddaughter now aged 19 who is on the spectrum. Her problems are principally social and anxiety, but she has, like many of her kind, a prodigious talent for music. She won a scholarship to Birmingham Conservatoire, and she's had rather fractured support up to the age of 18. But come the age of 18, absolutely zilch. And because she still has the same problems and she still has the same talent, I worry for her future. And so my question was going to be, is there any continuing support in the Bahamas? And I think you've answered that question.
I mean, one of the things of when adults come into our office is there's a lot of resources, especially the higher functioning, that they can learn and do on their own. So there actually are places that we refer them to learn, dating skills and how to communicate in relationships and different resources. And because they are ready to read about it and learn it and model it and watch videos, a lot of them are self-learners. They just need a direction of where to go as well. Absolutely. So if you want, I can send you some resources, but there's a lot for our adult population that we can send them, especially with the internet world. There's actually a dating app for individuals who, so they're with people who are like-minded and think like them and like the same interests and have the same talents. So there's a lot of, areas also that can expand. Our girls in the spectrum tend to do really well with self-teaching. Once they're giving the tools, they watch the videos, they're better at imitating and trying to change some of their facial affect and the way that they speak. There's a great dating book for individuals with autism called Decoding, how to decode, nonverbal cues and things that they struggle with. So there's a lot of resources that, we do give out to adults when there are different aspects of areas that they might feel like they're ready or need.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, Tony, I think you had a question.
Yes, thank you. Dr. Major, thank you for your presentation, very inspiring. My question to you is this: if I understood correctly, about almost 2% of children are born on the autism spectrum. My question is this historically consistent, or has it been increasing or decreasing? I know there was a lot of misinformation about vaccines and autism, but I was wondering, leaving that aside, whether there is more people on the autism spectrum now than there was, say, 100 years ago.
Yeah. The reality is is that we believe that there's more people being in the autism spectrum. There were those that autism has always existed. Okay, that is pretty much the knowledge. However, there has been an understanding that there's been an increase, and that it doesn't come simply from diagnosing better or catching it, that there actually seems to be an increase in autism over the years. We still do not know the cause of it. The United States focuses a lot on genetics. Canada focuses a lot on environmental testing, a lot of theories, a lot of suspicions, but nothing really has come out. What we do know is that Harvard Medical School and Massachusetts General Hospital, which I do some consulting with, they have recently discovered genetically how to catch about 30% in womb of kids with autism at this point. So there is a lot of research going on, but really to say why there's an increase, why there's a change, whether, we don't know, but there absolutely has been. There's majority of children are also boys. So 4 out of 5 diagnosed will be boys, which is typical of all disabilities. That is standard.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. I know that I'm pretty sure there are other questions. Dr. Major, can you please place your contacts or social media handles in the chat for persons to reach out to you? I'm pretty sure there are many of the questions people may have, and like you indicated, COVID, I think media handles and also your contact. And I'm going to turn it over to Laverne. Laverne, who's going to give our vote of thanks today. This has been very enlightening today. So Laverne, can you give our vote of thanks, please?
Thank you, Rotarian Kino. Dr. Michelle Major, come on, what a treat it has been for you to be here with us today. And it is indeed my pleasure to present you with this certificate. Kino has succinctly recapped much of the takeaways from your presentation, but I would be remiss if I were not to say to you, not only did you give a great presentation, but you also selected our club to present to this week during your vacation. And for that alone, we are most grateful. So on behalf of the president, board of directors, all of its members, it most certainly has been our pleasure to have you present so well to us today. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you. And Rotarians, let's do our 4-way test. 4-way test. And you could open up your mics as we read it together. The 4-way test of the things we think, say, or do. Is it the truth?
Is it
fair
fair
to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Will it be
fun? Oh, yeah.
Mr. President, I turn it over to you for adjournment, sir.
No, wait. I think there's one more toast.
I'm sorry. Our Rotary toast around the world. Robin, can you bring our Rotary toast from around the world?
Yes, okay. To Rotarians and friends everywhere, may the toast be to Rotary around the world.
Rotary around the world.
Okay, the great Kino, we really want to thank you for navigating us through this wonderful session. Very informative. I think, wow, we could go on much longer with Dr. Major. And Dr. Major, how can we say thank you? You selected us. That must be something, telling us something in the future. We hope to see you, much more of you around in our club. So we are really excited about it. Very good information. And I hope that most of us would, I'm sure that we would have inwardly digested. It will do us some good. It will make us much better informed, that we don't look at it as a negative thing. We can look at the positive, because there are so many positive examples of people who walk through those paths. And I think that's the good thing about it. And for too long in this country, when we looked at those persons, we want to kick them on the side, put them on the side, said something must have been wrong with the parents, something they have done to cause that to happen. You know how we go. But I'm saying to you, they are all just like us. They are human beings just like us. And I think we should treat them the same way. We should value them the same way. They're no better than our children. So, you know, they're going to be productive citizens in this country, and we must help them along. So we really want to say a special thanks to you, Dr. And I know you catching that Long Island breeze, catching a wonderful time. Some of us can't wait to go, whether it's Long Island, Maguana, Cat Island, and somewhere else. We'll be going, you know. We thank you. Just enjoy yourself, and, you know, always remember the Rotary Club of Nassau, that if you're looking for a Rotary Club, this is the place to be, you know.
Thank you so much, everyone.
We want to say thank you for all those who participated, all those who played a role in today's meeting, working the control, Chantel behind the scene, all of our visitors, all of our future Rotarians. Keno, we thank you. You got your feet wet. You did extremely well. And according to my marking system, my automatic marking system, you got to, you know, just really, very close to the 100%, according to my marking system. So you're there. You did well, extremely well. And so feel good about yourself. You can brag about your grade that you have passed this exam, you know? If you passed the Rotary Club of Nassau exam, you did well. You did well.
Thank you, sir.
You did well. So we're glad to have everybody here. I trust that you'll enjoy the rest of your week and have a good time. You can still hang around because some of you might want to ask me questions or want to share some good stories like Levine and others. And, you know, I don't know. So really want to thank you, but we can say thanks to this great club. You know, we continue to rule, we continue to make waves, we continue to cause some things to happen, some positive things to happen.